This meeting to order. Aaron, please rise. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Cindy, will you call the roll, please?
Boss,
Present.
Pipia,
Present.
Graham, Hughes,
Present.
Grund, Throm,
Present.
Fry,
Present.
5. Schroller,
Here.
Barnes.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Everyone have a chance to look over the minutes from last regular meeting?
Move to approve.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Have a motion, a second.
I have one
You
change.
got to change it, darling, okay?
It's on page 4,
Page 4, okay.
under street, number 2, the 4th line. I'd like to add after the sentence ending in finance, CM Boss stressed the need to take out debt for defined and planned street replacements or the city will never get ahead. CM Boss suggested a cost study be made.
You have that written down.
Any other additions or corrections to the minutes? That addition,
So moved.
first and second. Motion stands. Vote, oh, yeah, vote. All in favor? Signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion carried. Public comments? Nothing going on there. Business and discussion items. Marysville Chamber of Commerce 2019 agreement.
I put a new one on your desk. There were a few things. He changed counts. He put commission in here. Should be council. He put, so we changed it to that.
Chamber.
Oh, chamber agreement. Sorry, the other one.
The other one.
I got ahead of myself. The new one is also on your desk. There was an issue. I wouldn't worry about. Where'd it go?
It's 2,000 in words instead
Yeah.
of 2,200 in words.
They.
2,200.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we changed it to $2,000 every quarter and strike the $200. So that was the change on this agreement right there.
Oh, and then isn't it the time too with?
It was changed, yes.
Yeah.
On Saturday mornings.
Saturday open from 9 to noon, from April 1 to October 31st. And the corrected version won't have the strikes or anything like that.
Yeah, the corrected one on your desk is correct.
Move to approve the 2019 Chamber of Commerce
Can we
agreement.
have some discussion about that first?
Go for it.
I was just curious about, there's two things that aren't addressed in it, and that is where you're closing and opening and stuff, it doesn't say who will inform, or who, who will do the opening on these days. It would somewhere, it should say who should be doing it.
What do you mean, who should
Well,
be doing it?
who is going to do it?
Chamber. For the visitor center, the chamber would be responsible for that. Unless I'm mistaken,
But what about the days when they're not there or whatever?
they would be the ones organizing that.
And they have volunteers. They use
So it'd just be volunteers then?
Yeah, they would be responsible for keeping it open during these times.
Okay, that's all I wanted to ask about.
Okay. Any more discussion on the agreement, Chamber? Okay. Seeing no more. Got a motion?
Not a second.
Yes.
We have a second on it?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Let the mayor sign it when she gets back.
The next one, we have a corrected agreement for James Gordon and Associates. the corrections were, he said commission in his original letter. I asked him to change it to council. He also didn't mention the public library, public building commission in his original letter, but he figured those were already included as a normal city business operation, so, but I asked him to include those in that first paragraph. He included the library and the public building commission. I think that was the main changes. I can't remember if there were any others, but they were all, there was nothing that changed the original letter, just at least the intent of the original letter. It just spells it out a little bit more.
Yeah, see, they planned it to begin in January 2019, and the fee was $13,000 for audit services and $4,000 for single audit, so.
Oh yeah, and he added the single audit in there. That was the other one.
That was the other one?
Yep.
Anybody have any more discussion on the audit coming up with James Gordon and Associates? This time I'd enter a motion to accept the contract with James Gordon and Associates.
I move to accept the contract for James Gordon and Associates for the auditors.
Do I have a second? Huh?
I'll second it.
Second it? Okay. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion passed. Notices and hearings, I take it there's none. No consent agenda. Brings us up to presentation ordinance number 3689. A lot of money in it.
It's the last of the year. Part of the large sum, though, is the transfer. It looks like the sewer department it looks huge, but that's because we're transferring that in this last one to the sewer replacement fund. So we're taking it from one fund and putting it in the other, although it looks large. It isn't really large.
Yeah, the transfers are something like $183,499, and then the payroll and Blue Cross, $91,000. So that's a big chunk.
Big chunks of it, isn't it? Okay. I have a motion to approve the appropriation ordinance.
Second it?
Huh?
Oh, was
I
there?
have a motion to approve.
Oh, I moved to the appropriations ordinance 3689, amount of $396,399.65.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? No. Roll call.
Boss?
Yes.
Pipia?
Yes.
Hughes?
Yes.
Thrum?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
Schroller?
Yes.
Barnes?
Yes.
7-0.
7-0. Staff reports for Austin.
Okay, first up is the engineering proposal from CES for the 7th Street improvement from Elm to Walnut, basically installing a new street. You guys asked me to bring back the estimate, and I wish I had this up, but let's see, what page is that on?
15 to 18.
23 to
Oh, yeah.
26. Oh, that's not, do you have that up?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, the estimate includes the CES engineering, $4,426, and then the bidding services for $1,872. This puts in a brand new street, or engineers a brand new street, and and gets the bidding services done.
Does he have somewhat of a ballpark idea what this is gonna run us?
We kind of had that written up. I wish I had that on hand too. I think it was around $115,000 for the project itself.
I'm just curious what it costs for a block.
And I'm kind of curious as far as what kind of, is this going to be all upright curb, lay down curb? Is it going to have an intersection with the alley? What's it going to be between there and the trail? Is it going to stay rock? Are we
He's gonna
bring in
design it-
topsoil?
He's going to design it with, and these are all options that we can discuss. First idea was design it with the barbecue in mind,
Right.
with obvious
Right.
intentions.
We use those.
So lay down curb at least on that one side, to get them over to where they park. I think they may park on the other side, I don't know.
I don't think anybody's ever been on the
Okay. But
the west side
It's
of
kind
it.
of ill-defined. So
Yeah,
So
yeah.
at
Probably
least,
park in the street right now. Yeah.
at least on that, the west side, the east side, lay down curb. I thought about what else we could do with the interior of that, or landscaping or whatnot, but, or not
Wouldn't have
necessarily,
to be anything fancy, just,
yeah, so making it look good.
simple but clean.
Yeah, but for the street itself, it's gonna be it's pretty simple, straightforward. Intersections with the Elm and Walnut.
Slight grade down to Walnut.
And then we'll also install a new fire hydrant somewhere in there to one, assist if there's a fire at the barbecue, and two, to help out residents and businesses in the area.
And I know that, I think there's some like residual sidewalk and things on the west side of it. And
Yeah.
there's police on the north half, but
Is that included in the project? Or will that be outside of the scope?
I was gonna say, because the alley's kind of the same boat where it just kind of dumps you out into a rock lot. I wouldn't want us to put in curb and then we end up with drainage problems with that, where the alley intersects or anything because of the.
That should all go to the west from
Okay.
that point.
You'd be more familiar with that than I am.
I think he pretty much has kept it to scope. I mean, if it exists, they could put, I don't see there's much.
There's sidewalk.
There's a little
from-
sidewalk right
There's
there.
sidewalk from Elm to the alley.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it wouldn't be hard to design that into it, or out of the question, really.
You don't want to ramble on forever, but I'd hate to see us kind of do the edge of it and then that gets kind of isolate, becomes an isolate.
All right, I can definitely check that.
Are there any other options besides sales tax? I just hate chipping away at sales tax forever.
I
Gotta
think
keep
if we
some.
do it the way we're thinking about handling sales tax next year, I think we'll be in good shape with
Okay.
just this project and C-clip.
Yeah.
I think we'll be in good shape.
I was just thinking it would be fodder for trying to say it's special park since it's along the trail if we needed another option.
There's not that much money, well, I mean, there's a little bit of money. in
Probably
special
that much money, but not, yeah. Is that? Usually it seems like there's always about $5,000 in there, but that's fine.
For the engineering.
Yeah.
You get
Well, because if you're engineering that side, we use it for the barbecue and it's on the trail, it's a park.
Right.
That's an idea.
I thought
No, not the whole thing.
To keep it,
What happened to it?
Wow.
to keep it contiguous and with everything else, I'd probably just leave it in sales tax.
Anybody else have any more discussion on the CS engineering between 7th Street between Elm and Walnut?
I move to approve the engineering at $4,426 to come out, and the bidding services for $1,872 to come out of the sales tax fund.
Yep. I have a motion. Do I have a second on the project?
Second the motion.
Okay. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 7-0.
Said no.
Wage scale, I was asked to send out a listserv to see what other cities do when they do a COLA increase. pretty much all of them. I got responses from 24 cities and 2 counties. 23 of the responses said they did adjust their wage scales when they gave something like a COLA. And the reason why I said something like, some places called it something different or went by a different measuring system, but it all came out to be something along the lines of seeing how much prices changed on commodities. Some people use a CPI, which measured a basket of goods or something like that. I got my information from the Department of Labor, U.S. Department of Labor, where they measure electric costs, gas costs, housing, and all that other stuff in their stuff, in their projection, or not projections, but in their numbers. So it's 2 different systems, but come out to be the same meaning. So they all adjusted, so I'd recommend we adjust our wage scale, since we did a COLA, or the 40 cents to our wages. For full-time positions, 40 cents, and for part-time and seasonal to do a 20-cent increase. And I also recommend to keep doing that every time we do a COLA or some type of adjustment like this.
I move that we adjust the wage scales across the board to reflect, for full-time positions, to reflect a 40-cent per hour increase and the 20-cent per hour for part-time seasonal.
Second.
Motion, I have a second on the wage scale adjustment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Those opposed? Longevity.
So I was also asked to compare our longevity to county. I'm not looking for a response right now. This was for an information purposes. We could talk about this at the next meeting. But I put in a spreadsheet showing you what we do right now, or what the new program we just installed, and what the county does according to what the newspaper put out. And if you look at the numbers over the 30-year time span, we are less than half of what the county does. But at 15 years, we're about the same. So that's adding up year 1 through year 15, we are about the same money on longevity. So just for consideration, we could talk, like I said, we could talk about this at a future meeting and adjust it then.
I would like to, make sure we have accurate figures from the county.
Because, I mean, that's what they put in the paper, so.
Yeah, well, yes. Sorry, Paul.
Yeah, I agree to get,
I do know that they're huge like that because when Tom was a commissioner, he had said that those
To
people got
get the
huge amounts
specific,
when they were
get the
30 years
specific
ago.
figures.
and honestly, I think ours could use maybe review, so.
Send that to administration, finance, or
I'll just bring it.
you just bring it back? Okay.
All right. I put this in my highlights last week, but I wanted to bring everybody up to speed because it's kind of a big deal for the C-CLIP.
Yeah.
We had the meeting on Wednesday, December 19th. KDOT and BG both joined Gary and I to look over the project that's coming up. Most of the conversation was about traffic control, and that it's a big deal because it's going to be complicated and how we do things, especially since we got 2 highways that intersect, and then our newly installed bump outs down by the high school, as well as the sewer work that goes on underneath right there. So They were concerned about how we were going to route traffic when we block the intersection of Highway 77 and 36, as well as how we are going to handle traffic going through the new crosswalks. For some of the time, we are going to utilize Broadway to 8th and Broadway to 12th to divert traffic. We will also utilize Jackson 6th Street to divert traffic when sewer work is going to be done. The one big detail that we discussed is that they will probably have to remove bulb outs on the west side of Highway 77 to accommodate traffic flow during construction. The justification for doing this is that it would be cheaper, according to their projections, to remove those bulb outs than to use a temporary traffic signal or anything like that. KDOT is checking with federal government to see if they would be okay with this plan, since the crosswalk project had used federal dollars. The project is scheduled to bid in June, but we are trying to move that date up to facilitate more time for construction this year. So that was their major concern, and it kind of threw me through a loop, removing the things we just installed, but it's definitely going to be cheaper than, I found that kind of weird. But-
So we're thinking like semis would go down Broadway?
Yes, because Broadway is 60 foot wide, and what we would have to do is basically not allow parking on this half block right here at 8th
I
Street.
wondered about that.
And then possibly, I thought maybe limit it a little bit back from the intersection.
Get a bigger turning radius.
Yeah, give
that way
them
for the
bigger
trucks.
turning radius. Otherwise, it's not, I didn't see it as a challenge. It would be for a few days at a time. I think the longest time span was like 4 days or something, I can't remember. It sounded worse than what it was. And
I take it this is why they're doing the intersection on 10th Street? Why we're gonna be routing through Broadway?
yes, while and they'll do half of the intersection, 10th and Center. So we could still have some
The
traffic
bypass will
flow.
only be one way at a time.
Right.
That's good.
So they'll do that and then do that half block with that bottom half of 10th and Center. So it's not going to be as painful as it sounds.
What are they looking at a completion date on this?
We don't, until we get it bid and the contractor in, we don't know a completion date.
I mean, we looking at a 6-month project, a year project on this?
It's a two-month project, I think.
So, yeah.
I mean, they get it.
No way.
They get, like, it's faster than what it sounds.
Something else, I mean, besides the obvious route, signs to route the trucks around would be, and I don't know if they'll take care of it or we have to, but some drivers will get creative and they'll route every which way they can around it. So maybe some do not turn signs as well, as far as avoiding it, because otherwise you're gonna get, I think, some trucks up in some weird neighborhoods and things and not being able to make radiuses.
And don't quote me on
Holy
that 2 months,
picture.
but it was a shorter time span than I thought it was gonna be, because just how they talked about it, now it probably could be longer, but
Well, I figured it'd be a 6-month project or so, as many blocks as that is. I mean, they're gonna have to be dumping concrete hand over fist and,
you get a regular block of concrete done in about 4 hours. Now, wider out there.
yeah, they're going curb to curb, correct?
Yes. Well, the inside of the curb, we're only replacing
The bad spots,
the really bad, not the really bad spots, the bad spots.
the snake.
Down there. So yeah, they're going curb to curb. And we're gonna try to make it as pain-free as possible. I did suggest maybe some outer signage at Washington and 99 to not necessarily tell people to avoid Marysville.
For oversized loads.
But, yeah, something,
Lane restrictions ahead.
Yeah, 'cause you wouldn't
Semis and
want-
large trucks,
if
beware.
you're
that sort of
if you're
thing.
going south, turn now. I mean, that's pretty much what I would say.
Because bringing through those big
Yeah, the blades.
blades and
Yeah.
stuff, trying to make that corner.
Yeah,
For that,
impossible.
for that, they have to go through a permitting process, and KDOT should already have a restriction on that.
Okay.
When construction's going
And
down.
another thing with using Broadway, a lot of delivery trucks park right in the middle. So
Yeah,
that could be a challenge
That could
for
be a
those
challenge.
days.
There will be accidents.
there
Oh,
will be
yeah,
problems.
it'll be busy.
But yeah, the reason for using Broadway is because it's wide, it's wide.
Right.
It's wider than your normal street.
And there's no other way around. I mean,
Yeah.
there's.
77, or Jackson.
North?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no,
Jackson
The bottom.
6,
Right.
that's it.
Yep, that's it. So I wanted to bring you guys up to date on that, as far as that goes. All right, and then there was a change in plans as far as, I talked to everybody about hiring somebody new into the water sewer department. We wanted to make sure we were correct in that our current seasonal part-time, whatever, employee didn't want to join us. Well, he apparently changed his mind. He's a good employee. We didn't want to lose him. So we decided to hire him as a full-time employee, starting at maintenance worker 1 at $12.97 an hour.
That's with the 40 in it. The 1297 is with the 40 COLA in it.
That already includes the COLA?
Yeah.
That includes the COLA.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know that. Yeah.
So we won't get another 40 cents on top of that then?
It was 1257 plus the 40.
Okay, so that's the bottom of the wage
Yes.
scale. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep,
So you know that's where we're at.
yep. Okay,
Need to vote on that?
no.
Okay.
And then Local Government Day is coming up, January 23rd, all-day event. It's one of those great events that I go to every year. Carla's going as well, and other people have gone with us. It's all-day event where we visit with our representatives and get a legislative update. I have one more spot available if anybody wants to ride with me to speak.
Did you have me down?
I don't have you down.
Oh, because I said I would.
Okay, perfect.
but I wanted two. Guess we'll have paper, rock, scissors.
I'll get a trailer or something.
Trailer.
I will get you an RSVP. Okay. Let's see.
Don't you have a rumble seat?
Let me think. I think that's all I had for right now.
Cindy?
When Dave and I were working on getting the forms together for people to come in to sign up for the economic development incentive. And when you read that, at the bottom, it said assessed value. Well, to get an assessed value of $35,000, your house would have to be worth $350,000. Not many of those houses will be built. It was just a wrong wording, and it needed to say appraised. So when I thought I better bring that back, and you better know that we are changing it to appraised, because I know that was your intent, that it was the appraised value from the appraiser. And then the assessed value is, of course, like 12% of that. So I wanted you to see it, and then Carla can sign it again. But I just, in the two places where it said assessed, it will now say appraised.
Good, thanks for catching that.
Anything else, Cindy?
That's all I got.
Okay. We'll go to standing committee reports. Anything on the street anybody has? I already commented on 4th Street down there. They got it whipped up pretty quick.
Yep.
Once they got going on it, so.
I have one thing that pertains to off the street, because it's when somebody drove into the library. But how come the city, the constituents of the city are gonna get stuck for $4,000 in this $4,000 that the insurance company's not gonna take care of?
Because according to the insurance company, and this was backed up by our own insurance company, they're only liable for the depreciated value of the doors. So that's what they're paying us.
If they're eliminating liability, is that it? I mean, whoever did this,
They're paying us what they think the price of used doors would cost, like the same age doors.
so the constituents of Marysville are gonna have to pick up this $4,000.
Right. And I went back and forth. I talked to the adjuster for that insurance company. I talked to her manager about it. I talked to our insurance company, who then went and talked to her people, as well as the adjuster again for that insurance company. And she came to the same conclusion, that they are legally allowed to do this.
And did our attorney, did he get involved in this at all? I mean, somewhere, somebody should be protecting the rights of the city here. That's a city problem.
No, our attorney did not. I relied on our insurance company, who thought this was not very good on their insurance company's part, but like I said, she went through her contacts and then contacted them and just came to the conclusion that that was legal.
Just 4,000 out the window because somebody did this, is that?
Right.
I want to be able to tell these people because people are asking me.
But what about the party who ran into?
That's
Are
exactly
they not
it.
liable for it?
That's who should be liable.
That's what the insurance, this is their insurance company. That's,
You're
Well,
saying
no.
for
I
above and
know.
beyond their insurance, like we could file against them personally?
Yes,
Yes, we could.
yes.
Her auto policy is saying that they're not gonna pay for the replacement.
Yeah.
That's not right.
It's a little speculative.
Well, I
but we
think
can
it's a
go
little
after
hairy.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think
Is
they'd
it
have
I
enough.
don't even remember who it was, so I'm completely in the clear when I say, does this person live here?
I don't know.
They do.
Do they property owners?
Yeah. Yeah,
Was it next feature?
just seems kind of odd.
Well, I have people ask me about it, and I'm concerned because I don't think it's right that we don't pursue them paying the 4,000 instead of the city having to pay the 4,000.
I was gonna say, did the insurance company say anything about, well, no, our policyholder would be on the hook for the remainder or anything like that?
Never said anything like that. They just said that they were only liable by law for the
As
depreciated
little as
value.
they can, as late as they can.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I can see that the insurance company would say that, but I would
But still,
think that the party is,
Yeah, the doors were damaged beyond
Yes.
repair, though. I mean, there wasn't
Yeah.
any trying to piece them back together.
the difference that the party should
Be
be
responsible.
responsible for.
I just think we ought to look into it. I don't want to lengthen the meeting by saying something. I should have been quiet about it and done it later, but
Does our property insurance pick up any of that at all?
If there was an option to submit it to our insurance, in which their insurance would reimburse that same check to our insurance.
Okay.
But if we were to do that, we would pay $5,000 in a deductible.
Deductible.
Yeah.
Man,
Insurance.
wow.
gotta love it, don't you?
Yeah. I asked him about
Well, that's not right.
That's what he told
Our
me.
attorney should be looking into this.
Okay.
I don't know who it is, but yeah, it seems like we should be sending a letter to them or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything else on streets, anybody? Water and wastewater. Parks and Rec.
I see we had a meeting with the swimming pool people, lifeguards and stuff the other day.
The manager of the pool, or who's going to be the manager of the pool, was looking for interested parties to be lifeguards, yes.
I didn't know we had hired a manager.
We have. We are going to hire a manager in January. And she knows who she is. It's Kathy Under, yes.
Yeah.
We had talked about that.
Well,
I'm glad that she's on the ball.
I am too, but I didn't realize that we had hired a manager, so that's why I was a little surprised when I saw it in the paper.
That she was looking for interested lifeguards, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but,
We didn't pay her.
huh?
We are, she's not on.
Well, I
yeah.
understand that, but people were asking and it's kind of, maybe we should have discussed it.
We did, actually. And in fact, you were on the Admin Finance Committee.
Well.
When we did.
I know, but
Anybody else on that one? Cemetery and airport. Police and fire. Admin and finance. You got anything else?
No, I don't have anything else.
No appointments or wage terminations? No city attorney or executive session? Roundtable. Darlene?
I noticed in Michelle Weitzel's updates that she mentioned the Riley Corner billboard, that they were going to put something about the trails. And I was surprised. I thought they would maybe advertise the squirrels, because that'd be a more broad appeal, I would think, to people traveling through. Have you heard any discussions, Austin?
I mean, we've been advertising the squirrels pretty much nonstop since they've been installed.
But, we have the one billboard out here, but that one's,
And I forget what the one out there looks
Baby
like.
corner?
Yeah.
Remember that too.
I forget if there was a squirrel. Yeah,
There's a squirrel on the one at Beatty.
yeah, there was a squirrel, or
Is
there
a squirrel.
is a squirrel.
but that doesn't take care of the south.
Yeah, because I know we had some people in town from out of town over the holiday, and of course, they went and got the map and did the great squirrel hunt.
Well, I see so many people, taking pictures and I think that's something to get people to stop in town, and maybe they spend some money.
Yeah, it's a great draw. I know the people that were with us really liked it, so. Darlene, you have anything else this evening? Bobby?
No.
Terry?
No.
No? I have nothing this evening.
Happy New
Todd?
Year. That's all I got.
Okay. Diane?
No?
Jason?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Move to adjourn.
I have a second for adjournment.
Second.
This meeting is adjourned.